Good morning, it's Tuesday and here is another exciting, meaningful assembly from me to you. But today's assembly is a bit different, and this one's taken me a number of attempts to record this morning because it's going to touch upon something very personal and very, very dear to my heart. As you know, my family suffered a terrible, terrible bereavement back last November. My 16-year-old, nearly 16-year-old son tragically passed away. He was a healthy boy, tall, strapping. I called him my bodyguard because that's what he was to me. From the age of 7, he was by my side almost always, and he grew after his bar mitzvah to be 5'10", and wherever I went, he went, and we were very close, and we did a lot of different things together. One of the things he taught me during his 8 weeks in hospital has stuck with me, and I think it's one of those lessons that I want to share with you today because it's so vital. There are times in our lives when we perhaps justify being very, very selfish. This time in the lives of many year 11s and year 13s would be one such example. It's all about my revision plan, my GCSEs, my A-levels, my learning. And it's hard in that situation to think about other people. On a bigger scale, we're all dealing with our particular difficulties, being at home, being in isolation. Or maybe we've got loved ones who are not well and it's all about my family and how we're coping. My need for basic things for my home and that the house can function as opposed to somebody else. And I walk a little bit quicker from my car to the supermarket just to get in the line one space ahead, so maybe I will get that last packet or that last item that maybe other people want, but I need it, so it's all about me. Maybe we can justify those feelings. Maybe we can't, that's up to you. But I'm going to tell you something that my son taught me, and maybe we'll think differently. He was really ill in hospital. We didn't know that it would go the way it did, but there were times when the doctor said to us, he is one of the most ill children in the entire Manchester Children's Hospital. So we had an insight into how sick he was. But it's also the Children's Hospital is also a teaching hospital. And doctors come around with junior doctors or student doctors, and they need to learn. And on 2 different occasions, despite his pain and his discomfort, he said, okay, bring me the students and I will allow them to examine me. I'll allow them to prod and to poke and to ask me questions. And I will gladly go over my situation, even though it hurt him so much. Hurt him physically and it hurt him emotionally. He said, why? Because if these doctors can learn what I've got and they can spot it in another person and another child doesn't have to suffer, then it's worth my discomfort to allow them to learn from me. And he did this on 2 different occasions. He so could have said, leave me alone, go away, don't bother me, it's my problem, I'm suffering, I don't want to help anybody else. He could have been selfish, but he wasn't. And I think he's taken away, through his example, the ability that we have to make that excuse. I don't know how many examples we can come up with or you can think of that would justify being selfish. There's always something you can do to help another person. There's always an opportunity to be there for another person. There's always an opportunity to say, I'm going to put myself to one side because I can help other people. Doesn't matter if you're suffering, doesn't matter if you're struggling. There is something that each and every one of us can do to make a difference to the life of somebody else, no matter how miserable or how awkward or how difficult our situation is. Take a look at my beautiful boy. Regular teenager, but maybe he was an angel amongst people. If he could give himself to help others in his situation, my challenge to you is to do the same. Be there for others. Pick that phone up. Give someone a smile. Look after each other. We'll see you again later in the week. Have a good day.